for today's tutorial, we'll be working with this medium size weight yarn. You can use any size yarn as you like, but this is what I'll be working with today. This cream color and a 3.5 millimeter hook. And we'll begin our project with a slip knot. And I'm making this case for a Kindle. So I'm going to chain for mine. It'll be 18 stitches. And so whatever size you choose to end with an even number for your chains. Actually, let me start with you so you can see. That's how you start chain 1, chain 2, chain 3 for our beginners. And I'll meet you at the ends of 18 chains. Okay, and here I have 18 chains, and working from the second chain from the hook, so skipping one chain, working on the second chain, we're going to work a single crochet into that chain. So we'll work on this side here and pull through and pull through the 2. That's our first single crochet, and into the next, and we'll do that into every chain all the way down to the end, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so here we are at the end of our first row side. There should be 17 single crochet. Now, in the last stitch, what we're going to do, we're going to work our way around to the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and add 2 more single crochet into the same chain. So here's 1 and 2. So we're on the other side, and then we're going to work we're going to continue down the other side of this row, and it'll be 1 single crochet, and we'll work over this tail as well to cover. So here we are going into the next chain, single crochet, and into the next. And we'll do that all the way down to the other side, and I'll meet you here once we get to the end of our row. Here we are at the end of the other side. So we worked our way around, and we worked here, and we're at the end of that row, and I already worked my last single crochet into that last chain. So we're not going to end here. We're going to make that round corner here. So to do that, we're going to work 2 more single crochet in to that same chain. That's 1, 2, and then we're going to close with a slip stitch into the top of the very first single crochet. And that would be the end of round 1. For round 2, we're going to go ahead and chain 2, and we will do half double crochets into each chain around. So we'll work our first one into this next chain and pull through all 3. Again, we'll loop over, pull through all 3. And so we're going to do that all the way around. I'll meet you at the corner here. Okay, so here we are at the end at our first corner here, and we're going to work around with half double crochets into each stitch around. So there's one, and working into the next, as you can see. Okay, into the next one, and into the next. Now you can see it is creating that little corner there for the bottom of our bag. So we're going to go ahead and continue working half double crochets all the way down our row and around the corner, just like we just did, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, here I am about to finish off this round. I have worked my way almost to the end. Here is my last double crochet, and I'm going to be joining with a slip stitch at the top of my chain 2 that we started with. Okay, so we'll just slip stitch to join, and there you have our last corner, and that will be the bottom of your bag. Now actually we need to flip this over because this would be the outside. We want the right side out. Okay. Okay, so now for row 3, you're going to chain 2. 1, 2. And we are going to form our first cluster stitch or puff here. So we're going to work that into this first little chain here. So we'll do that by looping over once, inserting your hook, pull through, and we're going to do that again. Loop over, insert your hook and pull through, and then we're going to skip the next stitch. We're going to do another, we're going to continue the cluster puff by looping over, skip that stitch, move on to your next stitch, and pull through, and again loop over through the same stitch, pull through. Now at this point you're going to loop over and pull through all the loops, and there you should have your first cluster stitch, cluster puff, and you're going to close that off with chain 1. Now for the next one, we're going to do this again, loop over, working into the same stitch we ended off our last cluster puff. We're going to insert and pull through, loop over again, insert into the same stitch, pull over, loop over, skip 1 stitch, and into the next, pull through, once again loop over, and into that same stitch you're going to pull through, and then you will loop over and pull through all of the loops, close with a chain. And so this is what you will repeat for the rest of this row, and you're going to actually work that all around as you go. Okay, I'll continue and meet you towards this side before we go around the corner so we can work that together. Here we are. I have finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cluster puffs so far, and we're at the corner, and we're basically going to be doing the same pattern. I just wanted to do that with you. So I'm going to work the next one along with you, loop over into the same stitch, loop over, insert and pull through, loop over, skip 1, move over to the next stitch, pull over, loop over, and pull through, and then you'll pull through all the stitches, close, and we'll do that again. Loop over, insert, loop over, insert, pull through, loop over, skip, and then go to the next, pull through, loop over, and one more time, and then you're going to pull through all stitches and close with the chain. And so it starts working around that corner, as you can see, like so, and you'll just continue with that pattern all the way to the end. Okay, so here we are. I've worked my clusters all around till I have to make my last cluster, and I'll show you how to do this. So you're gonna yarn over, enter into that that same stitch, yarn over, enter in again, yarn over, skipping this one, hopping over into this first chain space here, and yarn over again, pull through, and close it with a chain. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look for the very top of our very first cluster here, and we're going to slip stitch to join. And there you have our first row of the cluster stitches on row 3. Now, to continue on from here for row 4, we're going to chain 2, and this is how you will do every row from here on. So this row will be repeated for however times you want to, how tall you want to make this, or how long. So from here on, we're working in these spaces, okay? So we're going to chain 2, which will act as our double crochet, yarn over. Our first cluster will be worked into this first space here, okay? Do it closer. Yarn over again, pull through, and then we're going to work in the next space in between here. And so there's going to be, this is where we're going to be working every single time, in the spaces, okay? We're working in spaces from here on in. So we're going to yarn over, hop over to our next space, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and then we are going to pull through all of our loops, close with a chain, and there goes your second cluster there. And I'll do it once again. Yarn over, we're working in the same stitch here, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, hopping over to the next space, pull through, yarn over, same space, and then yarn over to pull through, close with a chain. And we will do this all around. I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so here we are at the end of our row 4, and I am about to finish my last cluster puff stitch, so I'll do that with you to close. So that's 1, 2, hop over to the last space, which is actually right here where we started off this one. So loop over, pull through, loop over, pull through, and then we're pulling through all the loops, close with a chain, and then we're going to look for this top of our cluster puff stitch, this is our first one, and we're going to go ahead and slip stitch to join and close that. And that is how that should look. Okay, so now you can repeat row 4 for however as tall as you want it. And then I'll meet you again at the end. Okay, so here I did about 13 rows of the puff stitch, and now I'm going to go ahead and create a row that is going to give it like a finished look. So here I'll do, once I have joined to close, I'm going to go ahead and create a single crochet into that same stitch that I joined in. So here goes single crochet. That's 1. Then I'll work into the next stitch here and work another single crochet, and into every stitch all around I'll be working a single crochet, and it should look like this. As you go, I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so here I am. I worked 1 single crochet all around, and I'm at my end here, so I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch to join. Okay, and it should look like this, depending on how you want your edge to look. I would like a thicker edge to kind of match here at the top, so I'm going to go ahead and chain 2 and work single crochets. I'm sorry, half double crochets in. So from here I'll loop over, and into the next stitch I will go ahead and pull through, and then pull through the 3, and that was a half double crochet, and I'll do that into each stitch around, and I will meet you at the end. Create my last half double crochet, and we're going to close with a slip stitch into the top of our very first chain 2 to join. We'll do that, and that's what it should look like all around here. Okay, so now we're going to prepare to put our button in. You can put whatever button you like. So my button will be right around here. We need to go ahead and work our way to the other side to see where we'll be creating our loop for our button. So for me, midway is about 6 stitches over. This stitch right here would be 6. This is 7. So I'll stop at this point. So what I'm going to do is create a a single stitch right here in the first stitch. No need to chain to begin that. Into each stitch till we get there. Where we marked off. And so we can stop right here. Okay. So then from here, we're going to go ahead and create a chain. And you're going to measure that off depending on how long you want that loop to be, but you need it to come around long enough to where your button's going to be. So you would need it to come around like about right there. I'll meet you at the end. I'll do the first chain with you. So that's 1, 2, 3. And we'll do that for as long as we think this should come around the button. Once we put our button in. Okay. And if you feel safer, you can actually go ahead and sew in the button first, so that you can go ahead and do that. Okay, so I worked about a chain of 16 for mine. So it can come around up to here about there, and then that's where I'm going to put my button. So that's where it'll meet. Right there. So that's how it should look on the back. So we can go ahead and take our marker out, and we're going to now join with a slip stitch into that next stitch right over. That's, oops, slip stitch here, and there you've got your loop. And then you'll go ahead and into the next stitch, work the single crochet and work single crochets all around till you meet back here at the other side. Okay, so here I crocheted all around, 1 single crochet. We're at the end, and we just basically close it off with a slip stitch into the last spot there, and then you can pull that up, and you close that, pull through, and then you can just go ahead and take this end and weave it in. This is how it should look at this point once it's all weaved in. And now you just need to position where you want to put your button. And so I need it to meet, this loop should stop somewhere where the 2 holes are here, so it won't be too loose. So right about here sounds right for me, right where this meets. So you can just go ahead and sew your button in. Thanks for watching.